Welcome to the summit, What is Effortless Wholeness? And I now have the pleasure to introduce you to Unmani. Hi, Unmani.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're all about truth. You help people. You point to the truth, their essence, and they can see it for themselves. And you are also an author. And I have read Die to Love, which is absolutely beautiful. It's all about love. And you have some books there you can show me?
Die to Love. And here's my first book, I'm Life Itself. And my third book, The Courage to Come Alive, is coming out soon.
Yeah, it's love. It's all about love.
Love is another word for your true nature. But the reason why sometimes I might use the word love instead of words like awareness or consciousness is because love as your true nature it indicates the unconditional inclusivity of everything that's here. So meaning that your true nature, that awareness of it all, is unconditionally loving whatever is here. And that's what I'm referring to as love.
So how do you know that unconditional love? How do you know it for yourself? Do you surrender or do you do anything?
Your true nature is that already. So it's not about becoming or doing or any kind of effort. But of course, this is a big challenge for the mind, because it wants a job to do, it wants somewhere to aim for, a goal to attain, a special state that makes me feel good. And actually, the love that I'm pointing to, it's not a special state of always feeling loving. It's in fact every state, everything without exception. And that's the unconditional nature of who we really are. When you hear this message, it's easy to filter it through the mind that wants to say, okay, right, what do I need to do? Step 1, step 2, and maybe then I'll get there, But actually, it's about recognizing, maybe resonating with the words that point to beyond the words. Resonating with pointing back to who you already are. Nothing new, really.
Yeah.
Falling back into what you already are.
So it's recognizing what you are already, and it's beyond the mind.
I mean, the mind wants to do many things related to it, wants to grasp it. But even the mind is included in it. So essentially the mind isn't a problem, or it isn't wrong. It's just a tool to be in the world. It's a very useful tool. But when it comes to knowing your true nature as love or life itself, the mind has no idea really, or in fact many ideas, but none of those ideas are really ultimate truth of who you are. So it's about seeing through these ideas, losing more and more of what you think you know, all the ideas that you're holding on to, and falling into what you already are.
Yeah, it's effortless and wholesome, and it's unconditional. It's love.
Yeah, there's nothing that is excluded from it, and nothing that is needed, nothing missing, because any idea that there might be something missing or something wrong is the mind. It's an idea that I'm not enough, or I need love from outside of me, or I need to become a better person, or whatever idea might be there. It's an idea. And actually, our true nature is always whole, even if we don't necessarily feel whole in our human experience. But our true nature as that wholeness includes the experience of even not feeling whole or feeling broken. And so even feeling broken is wholeness, which of course is one of those crazy paradoxes.
Yeah, and it's like we think unconditional love is something that always has to be blissful and joyful and feel good.
It's the biggest confusion on the spiritual path, actually, for many, if not all seekers. They're hoping and waiting for a special experience, a special state, and trying to escape feeling pain and suffering and fear and anything uncomfortable. Trying to escape the mess, the human mess. But in fact, unconditional love is unconditional. That's the point. It has no conditions. It doesn't need the experience to be in any particular way. And that's the freedom, actually, for this human to be exactly as he or she is. And of course, as a human, we go through all kinds of ups and downs and challenges and issues, dramas, problems, whatever, and it's all here to be felt, to be lived fully. And there's no escape from that into some beautiful state out there. I mean, we can float around in those beautiful states, of course, but eventually life comes with some kind of slap in the face, and we have to wake up out of those sweet, beautiful dreams and come back down to earth and realize that actually life or love is about living here now. In fact, that's what my most recent book, The Courage to Come Alive, is really about. It's about really the courage to live as a human, still knowing our true nature as, that awareness of it all, but not using that as a way to escape.
So it's welcoming everything, what is as it happens, and it's love. Yeah, it's life, or presence. You could say awareness, or God, or
the words are all beautiful pointers, and depending on which word we use, we're in a way highlighting a certain aspect of our nature. The thing is that actually what we're pointing to is beyond all words. So every word is not big enough in a way. It is, it seems to limit. If we put the word love to what we're talking about, this, who we are, assume that it's about an experience of love, or waiting to only have loving thoughts. We have so many ideas about what love is or how it should be or feel. And it's the same with every word, even the word presence, another beautiful pointer. And we have so many ideas about what that should be like, what it should feel like, and how we might be wrong if, we're missing something, if we're not feeling present in every moment. The mind can grasp hold of a word and turn it into a way to make yourself wrong. I'm not loving enough yet, so I'm obviously not enlightened or aware or something yet. I need to keep working hard. Or there's something wrong with me, there's something missing. Or the other way around, look at me, I'm so loving all the time and so kind to everybody and compassionate, as if that means something about me in the other way as well. But of course, no experience means anything about who you are.
Yeah, it's beyond experience, or one with the experience. Is the formless and the form as one.
That we separate form and formless, you know. Actually, we need a word that says form and formless at the same time, simultaneously.
So it's everything that happens, life happening, and we want to be in control, and we think we are in control, but it's life running the show.
Exactly, life is running the show and watching and watching the show, and this human is just the show, you know, and every aspect of this human is fascinating to watch. That, you know, the mind wants to take a position on either side. Either I'm watching and identify just with the watcher, and that's in a way of escaping, really diving into being human. Or the mind wants to go into the other side and just be the person. You know, this is who I am. I'm this person, and with this story, with this drama or trauma, or but to really live the both sides of that paradox is, you know, walking that razor's edge, knowing that actually who I am is aware of it all, but at the same time, there's no escape from being in the world, in this body, as this person, living this life fully in whatever way that is for you.
So it's being who we are, and that's enough. We don't have to be someone else or something else. We're not lacking anything. We are enough in ourselves.
That's the way we're brought up, our conditioning, that we're supposed to achieve something, to become someone special, and it's all also innocent in a way. It's you know, it's very easy just to blame our parents or society for the way we're brought up, but in fact, you know, it's just about surviving in the world where we don't really know how to be or who to be. So we tend to just copy other people and try to survive. And nobody knows really what's going on here or how to live. So it's and it can be very frightening to just be who you are, you know, because you might be rejected or hurt or abandoned. You know, and a lot of us have gone through all kinds of pain from those kinds of things in our lives. So then we retreat into like, oh, you know, I can't show that part of myself. So the process of waking up to yourself and living fully as this human is slowly acknowledging all parts of yourself and bringing it to the light, actually, in a loving way. And that is also because you know yourself to be unconditional love, then it gives you the courage to actually expose all those aspects of yourself that you were hiding away, you know, because you know that who you really are unconditionally loves every aspect of who you are, without exception. Yes, you may be rejected by other humans or by society. That's a risk we have to take, and who knows, it may not even happen. But at least you are honoring your love of truth and your love of living fully as this human, as life itself, living in the world, Yeah, and then there's that feeds, that nourishes us very much when we see, if I see myself living fearlessly, in a sense, even if I feel fear, but taking fear by the hand in a way, and living it, acknowledging it, and saying, yes, this is what's here. I'm not afraid to show it, or I'm willing to risk it. That's the courage to really live.
Yeah, because if you live the other way with this sense of lack, and it's not really that fun.
No, not so much fun. No. Yeah, and it's painful. It's painful to feel that sense of lack. And that's often what leads people to the spiritual search, because they feel that sense of lack and they're longing for a way out of that. And that's what tends to fuel the belief that one day I will stop feeling pain. When I get it, then I'll always feel bliss, for example. But actually, it is about coming full circle back to that feeling of lack, and seeing that the story of the thought story, or the belief that I am someone that lacks something, that is a thought story. And when we actually examine and feel into the sensations that are felt, even if it's painful, it might be really painful, but it still actually doesn't mean that I'm lacking anything, even if it's painful. So then it's about embracing that pain, really. When I say embracing, I mean meeting it, feeling it, staying with it, and knowing at the same time that it doesn't mean anything about me. It doesn't make me more or less spiritual, or more or less awakened, or more or less lacking. It's just what's here now. And it's here to be felt and included in this unconditional love that I am.
Yeah, we are this unconditional love. And it just feels like there's this contracted person resisting that.
Yeah, and that's the paradox, that you could say there's no one here. There's only life living itself. And that's absolutely true. And simultaneously, there very much is this human, and she is living with this body, feeling whatever she's feeling, and living the life, the timeline that she lives in. Yeah, and this is the paradox, that it's both, and so yes, life itself is unconditionally loving this human, no matter what she does. But you could say then, well, it doesn't matter if I live the rest of my life feeling a sense of lack. Well, no, it doesn't matter. Life still unconditionally includes that too. But of course, there's a longing. There can be a longing to wake up and live our true nature, for it to not just be a mental concept, or a nice spiritual book that you read, and then you just feel like, well, this is so different to my actual experience. Those enlightened people out there sitting in their caves or their ashrams, they know it, but my experience is still not it yet. And that creates a big distance. Continually think that you're not there yet. And so actually including what's here and acknowledging that the human experience, just the way it is it is the doorway to awakening to your true self. You know, any experience, whether it's a painful sensation, when we just see that it's not anything to do with the thought stories that are happening about it, that are telling stories about the sensation. But those thought stories, they're not wrong or bad or something, but it's just that when we don't refer to them as the truth, and we can just feel the sensation itself, that's already an awakening to what is, out of the dream of me and my separate, you know, I'm separate from the rest of the world out there. And as soon as we feel into what is actually here, there's no separation. And already everything that I've ever been longing for is right here. But it's not a concept, it's not a particular special experience, because it's always changing. It's perhaps nothing like the beautiful dreams, those beautiful spiritual dreams that we might have had. It's reality. It's very much grounded reality.
Yes, you're living this grounded reality, this truth, and life. Life moves through you. And does life get better or not?
Yeah, I would say again, it's one of those paradoxes. You know, there's so many paradoxes in this message, but it's in one way, you could say that life just goes on. I mean, however this particular human is living, it unfolds. You know, I mean, even to say that my life now is better than it once was is a kind of mental story, and if I really feed that, then, you know, that's also not the point. I mean, I don't buy into any mental concepts. You know, I'm just living here now. There's nothing more. Very simple. And in fact, I don't even care how it was. You know, it's irrelevant. And then the other side of the paradox is that it seems that even if this woman faces a challenge, that, you know, some tragic thing happened, like, you know, my husband died suddenly. Now that, you know, that I feel like, you know, was a leveler, you know, this kind of thing, you know, when you have a big loss or a big tragedy, or you know, something big happens in your life, then you know, it humbles you again and again, and makes you see that there's no particular state to be in. Although, you know, facing the pain, the heartbreak, I feel like if I was to tell the story of compare myself to myself in the past, if that would have happened to me in the past, I would have struggled much more with it than I have more recently, because now, you know, it was just about feeling the pain, the raw pain, the raw loss. Whereas perhaps in the past I might have bought more into the stories about it, the drama, and identifying with, you know, the poor me story, you know, and that would have just perpetuated the pain and suffering. Whereas now it's you know, just it's raw. It's really raw, and there's no escape into a drama, because those dramas do provide a kind of an escape. Even though they're more painful in one way, they're also a way of actually not feeling the intensity of what is here.
You become really intimate with the experience, but there's not really a you that's intimate with it. It's just, you could say, life is intimate with everything. It moves through.
Yeah, it's freely flowing. Even if this woman finds herself in all kinds of crazy situations or feelings or sensations, ups and downs, it's flowing, and there's I'm just watching the show, and there's no idea that she shouldn't be feeling this, or that this means something about her, or it's just, okay, this is just what's happening.
Yeah, there's no resistance or fear of what happens in life. You don't have to fear everything, because it's gonna be there anyways. And it moves through you. It happens to move through you in however way it does move through you.
Yeah. Even fear. I mean, of course, there are situations that might provoke some fear. It's a natural human survival response. But I surrender. It's just about seeing that there's no way of forcing life in one direction. It's out of my hands. And this isn't a passivity. It's not an attitude of like, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow. There's no me being passive. Often I might be very active, but it's a knowing that this is just what's happening. This is what life is presenting, in this woman's life. And okay, next step, one step in front of the other, this is just what's happening. And actually, when we live that consciously, when we're consciously acknowledging, not just as a mental concept, but we're acknowledging that that the thinking actually isn't in charge here, that life itself is in charge, then there is a kind of living in alignment with that. And then life is easy in a way. It's not always, it doesn't always feel good or blissful or something, but it's easy because there's no choice about it. It's just, okay, this is what's happening. This is where the energy is flowing. This is, the sensations that are here to be felt. Okay. And I mean, resisting it actually is more painful. But, I want to just say again that it's really not about having an attitude of passivity, because it really can be taken, I hear this again and again from people who take this message on as a kind of, I'm just going to sit back and wait for life to move me. And this can be the perfect excuse to, to avoid stepping into life, actually taking action or taking a stand for something, or taking a risk, or standing courageously as who you are, risking exposing who you are in that moment. So even if you find yourself taking action, even the action is happening by itself.
Yeah, it's like being fully engaged in life as it is in the moment, because there's no past, no future. It's just now we are, and that's it.
Yeah, beyond all ideas of what that is. And even if there are ideas, well, they're just ideas. So we see those ideas for what they are. The stories of me, the identities that play out, they come and go. And in each moment we're fresh. We're, in a way, we're being born now. And that's so freeing. and so alive.
Yeah.
And of course, it can come with fear. It can be fear, and because it's also a death. It's a losing. It's again and again losing everything that you've ever believed in or ever known, losing the ground underneath your feet in each moment.
Yeah, I like the ground of love. I often actually myself I use the term the only stable ground I have is love.
Yeah. There's I mean, it's wonderful to acknowledge that, and to know that there's a longing to live that love, and that longing itself is the love. That's the felt sense of love. And it's sometimes even a painful sense, because it can feel like it even wants to break out of your body. It can't fit in your body. It's so big.
Yeah, that longing, like something wants to come home.
Yeah. Certainly for me, like that was always a strong longing, and nothing else was more important than that. And I know that for many people, it's like that also. But it's a matter of what are we willing to risk for the sake of that, because so often in our lives we're compromising, or we're putting it off, but to really follow that longing, wherever it takes you, and of course essentially it takes you back to yourself, so you see that actually it was never about going anywhere, but as long as it feels like it's leading you somewhere, you absolutely must follow that longing. Because this coming home to yourself, it's the greatest gift. We're so often looking for that love in other people, or in achievements, or in a place, and those things will never satisfy us as deeply as that coming home to ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Unmani. It was such a pleasure. I feel your love. It's great. Yeah. And how can people get in touch with you? What's your website?
Die to Love. It's same as the book. This book, with hyphens in between the words. dietolove.com.
And you have some events?
Regular online webinars on different themes, on every second Sunday, and soon, hopefully, we'll be holding live retreats, one in Holland in August and one in Portugal in October. And I have this love of truth community that people can join, where we can meet and share, and there are, you can join my webinars and explore more deeply with me. You can do private sessions as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.